The sorrow of the secret family of Kourtney Kardashian revealed as Mason, 14, refuses to join her for a 2-week stay in Australia with her new Travis Barker husband. Welcome to Celebs Unlock. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming celebrity gists. Kourtney Kardashian arrived in Sydney, Australia, with her children Penelope and Reign on the episode of Season 5 of This Week in Kardashians, but the mother of 4 revealed that the trip had been tinged with his teenage son's sadness. Mason. She also brought her newborn Rocky with the 2-week trip, while she was following her husband Travis Barker through a part of her group. "I am in Australia, we did. We had the best time. Travis visited different cities in Australia for about a week, but I didn't have much opportunity to play with the other kids because I was in bed before and then the newborn was at home, and I actually wanted to be at home in Sydney." Kourtney says this in the confessional as footage of her and the kids trying to play tennis is shown. But Reign screams when the ball gets close. But her eldest son Mason, 14, didn't come because, as she said in the confessional, he's at home with his dad, which is very sad, but he's making the most of it. Every opportunity. The second was an episode that took place after Kourtney celebrated Penelope's 12th birthday. Last week's episode had a brief segment in which Kim tried to convince Mason to go on the trip by telling him all about Australia, but it didn't work. As Kourtney asks Reign and Penelope about the mountains and valleys of Australia at the moment, Reign is shown feeding a carrot to a horse. "My favorite thing is ice cream," Reign says, with Kourtney confirming. "Ice cream is the best," Reign adds. "It's the worst as far as favorites go. My favorite thing is to ride roller coasters," Kourtney says, but she explains, "I'm going on one tomorrow," and Reign smiles. Penelope says, "I'm going to the beach. I don't want to go in the water because I got attacked by a shark." Reign denies Penelope's comment, saying, "Yeah, who cares, if it only takes one bite, I'll take the risk." When nanny Ally Garcia asks Kourtney what her peak and low were, she responds, "My peak was probably when I was hanging out at Miranda's. I feel like I learned a lot from her mom, like the traditions she wants to keep at home with her kids, and how her mom is always cooking and taking care of everyone." Ellie added, "My son is super supportive," and Kourtney added, "Like, we all do the dishes together. My hole was a spider." In the video, a rather large spider is shown walking across a white wall, and Kourtney explains in her confessional, "So the only reason I couldn't move to Australia was because of the spiders." Kourtney tells her kids and Ellie that she's looking for spiders everywhere, and confesses, "It's really awful and I don't want to live that life." Kourtney asks her kids, "Do we love Australia?" Penelope nods, yes, and Reign says, "Of course," with an exaggerated wink. Kourtney claims, "I don't know where he gets his sense of humor from. He's like a little Jim Carrey." Back at the dinner, Reign looks at the camera and says, "Someday," but as Penelope folds her arms and looks up at the ceiling, impressed, Reign looks at the camera again and says, "See, was that guy?" He starts laughing, to which Penelope looks at her quizzically and claims, "That's not so funny." Kourtney acknowledges the perception. "I begin to get a lot of vibration like his father. I think he has begun to have such humor. I think that's exactly what we need." As they left the restaurant, Penelope said, "There's paparazzi," pointing at the photographer, and Reign yelled, "Hey, paparazzi, you're the stalker." Kourtney said, "If this guy is here, we won't be here long," adding in a confessional, "The paparazzi are everywhere in Sydney." Everywhere, noticing photographers starting to flee as they walked in opposite directions, Kourtney added in a confessional, "So I'm not taking Rocky, but even though he wants to stay home and be in his own bubble, it's not fair to take the kids all the way to Australia and not take them anywhere for business."